So Anthropic just released something quite awesome the other day, Claude in Excel, and I had to try it. Really want to just share my first hands-on experience. So logging into it, you need to have a Claude account. It's a bit finicky because it doesn't open your default browser. I'm using another browser, but it opened in Internet Explorer or Edge by default. What I did is I just copied the link, pasted it in my browser, and it allowed me to authorize with my Anthropic Claude subscription. But anyway, so what I have here is a budget for the year, a pretty simple P&L budget, and then some actuals for January, February, and March. And what I wanted to do is I just want to see if it can build my actuals versus budget dashboard. I want you to build an actuals versus budget dashboard for Q1. Make it monthly, and for the entire quarter, add some narrative notes where it is obvious what happened, or you can infer from the detailed monthly data. Okay, let's see. Accept all edits. I'm not gonna tell it what's where, so this is obviously the budget. It's called that way. The actuals are just the only way to know is by the name of the sheet. So let's see how far it can go on its own. And granted, this is beta, and it reminds me a lot of Try Shortcut, which it's been so long before since I did a video that it's been months since Shortcut came out, and I made a video about it. It was a web experience where it was like a completely recreated Excel. Those really smart research guys completely recreated Excel in web. And then they also released an Excel add-in, which I haven't tried. And honestly, Claude, with this move, I'm already paying for Claude, so it makes much more sense to use that instead of having another subscription. Okay, so it's asking, I don't see any data there's no budget sheet with data. There's literally a budget sheet with data. So let's see what's going on here. Oh, maybe because I had this open before I added the sheets in this file. Let's see if we can just reopen it. Nope. Oh, clear chat. Okay, let's see if it will gather, I'll build an actual versus, let me examine. Yeah, so it wasn't aware that I had added those sheets, so this is something to keep in mind. It already had some understanding of the file and didn't refresh it before it got started. But now it read the sheets. You can expand here, see what parameters it did and what it got. Okay, let's see what it does in terms of actually building the analysis itself. Okay, something's happening. I don't know how long this is gonna take. So Shortcut AI was pretty slow and pretty finicky because it wouldn't really update your view in Excel in real time, which was a bit problematic when working on smaller tasks. But what I've heard about this here is that potentially it can be working on its own sheet and you can be interacting with the file in another sheet, which, I don't know, it doesn't sound like something that you would want to do. But at the end of the day, I have no idea exactly how they are interfacing with Excel. What I would assume, and I had this as a project idea a few months ago, but it was just too big for a side project, was what if we can have all the interop capabilities that VBA has, if we have all those outlined and we have essentially functions that can run those functions, but then give this list of functions to AI and have it interact. I would guess they're doing something like that. So I'm not seeing the sheet. Oh, okay, Q1 dashboard. So let's go to it. And you see it was working independently. So it didn't select the sheet. It didn't go there. But let's see. Add revenue section header, add revenue data rows. Okay, now that looks much more real time between what it's doing and what we're getting. And what happened? And it just stopped. Okay, let's see if we say continue, what would happen. Now that's probably something they'll add in the future, which I think would make this amazing, is plan mode. So right now we don't have plan mode here, and plan mode has been amazing when working on like a coding project, because you can go back and forth with it to a point where it builds this like huge, really detailed plan, and then it just goes and executes everything. It doesn't have to constantly think on what's the next step, which used to get it to hang up essentially. So I think that's what's happening here. It just goes and goes, and at some point it's like, I don't know how to continue. So it just stops. So the first thing I notice is it's picking up that this is 26 and I had 26 in my budget header. It also picked up the company. It also picked up the currency, USD, converted it in thousands. So we need to see if this is correct. And then what it's doing, it's essentially just adding January, February, and March and Q1 totals, just doing budget, actual, variance, budget, actual, variance, budget, actual, variance, budget, actual, variance. And then for the quarterly one, it has two variances, one in dollars and one in percentages. For all the rest, it's just percentages. I don't really like how like this is like really squished together, so it's kind of hard to identify what's what. But let's see. Okay, I don't think you're done. Let's continue and see what it does next. So I really wanted to try it out with something like that, because I think this will probably be like a common scenario for an AI assistant within Excel. And granted, I don't know how good Copilot is. I'm not using Copilot, so I've never used it and haven't had time to dig into it. Let's see, continue again. No, it's gonna add a summary section as well. But yeah, this looks promising, even if it's not the best, as long as like those numbers are correct, and like the narrative at least gives you a starting point. I think that's a pretty great thing. But you see, I have to ask it to continue all the time. Okay, key wins, key concerns. Okay, this is shaping up like a proper actuals versus budget analysis. But there's like, will you do anything else? Let's see, I really want to give it a chance to completely... Okay, now let me resize the columns for better readability. Okay, I was just wondering if it's going to do that. And notice something, it didn't just like grab the entire column A and resize that as if you're clicking here, because then it would have gone to here from the title, and from the notes, it would have gone up to here. It just looked at like its essential row names, like line items, and just expanded it enough so those are nicely visible. It also froze the top rows as well, which is good. Let's see, we would do anything else. Read a sample of the data. Also, are those? No, those are hard-coded numbers. I would have preferred to have those as formulas so that I know they are correct. I don't have to check if they're correct. And what I'll actually do is, oh, what's it doing? It's doing more work verifying than it did building it. Yes, I want all the actuals and budget values to be formulas pulling from the respective sheets instead of hard-coded numbers. And Shortcut used to do that as well, and it was really hard to get it to actually like write formulas that grab the data. For some reason, it was so much better at calculating the value and then placing it here than it was in like writing the formula to get it. So let's see, those are okay. Sum F. Nice. We can check a few of those, but they seem legit and correct. And also, I don't see any numbers changing, which means it was probably correct the first time and it's correct now. So what I want to do next is I really want to look at, what's this? Oh, percentage points. Okay. I really want to look at those narrative notes. So what it says, strong enterprise sales, Acme Corp, Global Tech, Megacorp deals drove plus above budget. Let's see if that's the case. So if we go to, let's look in January. What we have here for revenue, Acme Corp, pretty big. Okay, another Acme Corp. Okay, February. No Acme Corp here and no Acme Corp here, but here we have like the Megacorp, a lot of those. So that's pretty good. It was able to extract from the memo the name of the companies and identify which are like the largest companies. And a person could also do that, but it's going to take them way longer to get to this detail. So this is already really, really impressive. And the fact that it managed to replace all of those with formulas is also pretty good. So revenue exceeded budget. Okay, it did. That's true. Enterprise deal closures, Acme, Global Tech, Megacorp. Gross margin expanded 1.8 percentage points to 71.4%, showing pricing power and favorable revenue mix. T&E came in 20% under budget despite strong sales activity, good cost discipline. This is amazing. Come on. This is just amazing. Even if those are not like fully correct, because this actually doesn't tell you what happened, why T&E was lower, but it sounds good. It sounds professional, and I really think this is a great starting point. You see here the key concerns: operating profit missed budget. Is that true? Operating profit was below budget? Oh my God, that's not good. Salaries were over budget, commissions tied to strong sales plus Q1 overachievement bonus. Nah, that sounds a bit like hallucinating, but let's actually see if we have anything about a bonus in the notes. So if I look for a bonus, not in this sheet, not in this sheet. Wow, sales overachievement, 15K Q1 bonus. It's not that much, but it still picked it up. It also picked the commissions. Okay, I'm impressed. I was about to say that this is like essentially bullshit, that it made that up, but it didn't. And this is really impressive and quite concerning for a large portion of our job, I guess. But yeah, if you know how to use those tools, just imagine how far ahead you'd be just by learning those simple tools and learning how to prompt them. And imagine if this is a real case scenario and you know a lot more and you can paste in a lot more context and create a much better prompt. Because let's face it, my prompt was very generic and it still did a fantastic job. So let's push it a bit more. Let's say I want to reforecast the rest of the year based on Q1 performance and original budget data. Do that for me in a new tab with the same structure as the budget tab, and then give me a year-to-year comparison of the new budget versus the old budget with a short explanation of why we changed it. If it does that, it's it's gonna be amazing if it does that. Okay, I'll create reforecast for the rest of the year. Before I build it, let me clarify a few assumptions. I'll use the actual Q1 numbers as the base for January and March. Reforecast method, I have a few options. Apply Q1 variance percentage to remaining months. E.g., if revenue was 13%, assume 13%. Oh, that's good. That's one option. Use Q1 run rate trends. e.g. March Axros as the new baseline grown at budget growth rates. That's also a good option. Selectively adjust, keep some lines at budget. Yeah, I love this one. This is gonna be chaos. And it's recommending this one. Revenue momentum should continue. COGS will scale with revenue. Salaries, commissions will. Oh my God, this has a much better understanding from like a junior, and I'm actually gonna say mid-level FP&A person. It's a powerful tool. 75% of my job can now be done by AI, which is not ideal because I love this stuff. I love digging into data. I love building like analysis, forecasts, dashboards. But knowing that for example Claude and Excel can do it faster, why would I waste time? Okay, let's look at what we have here. Reforecast P&L. Okay, revenue OpEx. I think we have all the things here, and it's reforecasted it, and then we have another sheet. Wow, which is much more detailed, which is budget versus reforecast. Okay, original budget, reforecast. Oh yeah, that's in thousands. So 7 million was the original budget, was it? Yeah, it was. Okay. And oh, look at that. It actually remembered that I asked it to use formulas. So it did everything with formulas. And it's not only impressive, it's a great thing to be able to do because this eliminates like data checkup. Essentially eliminates it because you know that if it's a formula, and especially you can check a few formulas, but you know that if it's a formula, it's going to be the correct value as long as it's pulling from the correct place. Okay, so reforecast adjustment, some rationale. Hey, that looks promising. That looks pretty good. And our reforecast assumes that we're gonna make more operating profit, which is kind of weird given that we were behind in Q1, but I guess the revenue trends and what it taught about everything results in that. Very impressed. I want to try another example. I have this model here. This is my financial modeling template that you can download. I have those like core business and then consolidated view that grabs all those different modeling sheets and creates this summary. And then I have valuation, a revenue step-up chart, a revenue and margins summary, and a table of contents. I want to see if Claude can do that. So I'm gonna type the command here so I can look at the tabs, and then I can paste it in the file that has the model only up to here. So I'm gonna say this is a very detailed financial model for 5 years. I have the summarized core business financials and consolidated view financials in the first 2 sheets. Those will be my first 2 sheets. And when I delete everything else, I want to create 4 more sheets. I want a valuation sheet that uses available model data to build a valuation for the company at the end of the modeled period. I want a revenue step-up sheet that has a revenue step-up chart outlining different components of revenue and how they stack each year. I want a revenue and margins summary tab, and I also want a table of contents tab that has the main tabs listed with their titles and a link to visit them. Okay, let me cut. Now, this is my experiment tab where I have like only my console view and my core business. I'm gonna open Claude here and paste this entire text and let it go. Okay, I'll help you create these 4 new sheets. Let me first examine the existing data in the console view and core business sheets to understand the financial model infrastructure or just structure. Then we can build out each new sheet. Okay, config sheet for assumptions. Okay, module data, valuation sheet, what valuation, revenue step-up charts, revenue and margin summary table of contents. Yeah, you pick the ones that make most sense. I don't want to go through those questions and answer each one individually. Obviously, this is not something I would do in like a real life scenario. Okay, it's been going for a few minutes, but let's see how long it takes and where it takes us. Now, this is something interesting that I just noticed. I see there are some formula issues. The references need adjustment. Let me check the console structure and fix the formulas. Are you fixing formulas in my pre-existing file or in the valuation sheet? Oh, okay, fix valuation FCF formula. Okay. I understand the structure. The issue is that the valuation formulas are referencing incorrect rows. The years in console are in column EL, not DH, and I need to use the actual CapEx from the cash flow statement. Let me fix the valuation sheet. Okay. I'm really interested to see what it does, and I guess like some of it is already here. Yep, I just added it to the end. And something else that I noticed is that it's working much longer this time around. So I still haven't had to hit continue, and it's been going for a solid like at least 2-3 minutes. Let's see the table of contents. Okay, it added some contents. Obviously, my table of contents is, I would say, better, but at the same time, it's pretty much got like comparable details in here. Let's see if that works. No, the links don't work. Maybe it's gonna add them later. Okay, let's go to valuation. Okay, this is starting to look like something. Exit multiples. Long-term GDP growth assumption for the terminal growth rate. Discount rate assumed based on industry risk profile. I don't know how you figured out the industry, but fine. Yeah, okay, it died. So let's say continue. And the revenue step-up chart. Okay, it's actually not bad. I was thinking something else. Like I was thinking like more like this, which I have in my file, which is a bit like, okay, this is a bit more specific and a bit more complex. This already like shows the picture, and I also didn't specifically explain that I want to go with like what's my run rate and then what gets me to the next run rate and then what gets me to the next run rate. If I had done it that way, maybe like if I instructed it to do it that way, maybe it would have been like better. But still, this is pretty good. So it's showing segments, and it's actually doing it pretty well. Like it correctly identified that I have the core business, then the acquisition, the further acquisitions pipeline, and then the uplift from this new venture. I even added a check, and it's a formula, and those are also formulas. So this is pretty impressive. For the revenue and margins, what do we have? We have a table here, a gross margin percentage, EBITDA margin, net profit margin, and I also have all of those are formulas, which is again pretty good. Really impressive. Like obviously it's not gonna do it exactly the way I've done it, and probably, at least for the most part of it, mine is better in terms of the fact that it's specifically tailored to the rest of the model. Okay, let's continue because I don't think it's done. It's resizing columns right now. I think that, what was I saying? In terms of like just throwing a model at it and asking it to build on top of it, and keep in mind, this is not a simple model. I mean, it has all those like large tabs with conditions and like pulling from each other with different scenarios and things like that. So essentially using formulas, it's actually making it even better, because now if I go in and I change a scenario or something like that, it will reflect here as well. I think it's done. Table of contents, key valuation metrics. Okay, I didn't need that, but that's good. Hey, the links don't work, but that's fine, I guess. Then valuation, discount rates, terminal growth rate. So it's using, like, it's making a free cash flow projections, unlevered free cash flows, discount period, discount factor, okay, present value, sum of present value. I don't know why we have two columns that are essentially the same. Yeah, it messed up here a bit. Oh, it added sensitivity, like the weighted average cost of capital versus the terminal growth rate. And then it added like an, why is it at 7 when it's at 8 here? Oh, okay. Yeah, that is a bit messed up, but yeah, it just moved them one to the side. That's fine. Implied multiple. So essentially, equity value DCF is 1.5 and equity value exit multiple is 3.5. What I did here in terms of valuation as of right now is 1.6 to 1.7 for equity and enterprise. Okay, 1.5. Hey, that's pretty close. Like equity enterprise, it's like spot on. I haven't done like a multiples analysis, so that's a nice addition to it. Also, the implied multiples are nice. Okay, quite impressive stuff here. Like, granted, you have to move those around, maybe get rid of one of those two columns, see which one it uses below, make sure that it's not like misaligned. But other than that, impressive results. So for the revenue step up analysis, we already looked at it. It makes sense. It shows something different, but the problem here is that I didn't provide the instructions for what I want to see. And I'm pretty sure like this table is really hard to build. Every time I have to build it, create this like weird table to go along with it, I have to Google it, watch a YouTube video, and figure out how to make it. And then the revenue and margins summary. I was hoping that those would be more like mine here, like showing them by entity. That's what I was looking for. Again, this is fine, especially considering that I didn't give it any context. So that's pretty impressive again. Oh my God. So Claude Code turns into Claude in Excel. And I gotta say, I'm very impressed. Like, forget my rant about is AI good or bad in terms of like people's jobs and yada yada. I'm not minimizing this as an issue. It's just not something that I want to focus on in this video, that I want to talk about in this video, because I just don't have the full picture. But yeah, this is amazing, and I can see how this is gonna completely change how we work in Excel. I know people have been saying that about Copilot. I honestly haven't seen a lot of adoption of Copilot, and I personally haven't used it, so I cannot compare. Maybe I can like do another video, but my thoughts are that this is bringing something that a lot of people are already paying for within Excel. And I know it's gonna be there's gonna be Claude in PowerPoint, probably Claude in Word or whatever. But having that in Excel and having it integrate so well, it's just amazing. I mean, this is definitely gonna speed up a lot of people's work. The only issue I see here, and it's something that's always gonna be an issue when it comes to like those huge AI corporations and like FP&A professionals, finance professionals, is the issue with data. No, a lot of companies are not okay with you sharing data to AI models. I personally don't see a big issue with that, as long as you have like your settings that it doesn't use data to train their models, yada yada yada, so that it doesn't accidentally show some sensitive data that you shared to another user. But I've read accounts of people who claim that even though they have those settings, that still happened. I don't know, but the fact that we are already here is just amazing. And I think as soon as like those models become like more efficient in terms of compute that they require, and maybe like we get to a point where you can grab a budget-friendly device just to run AI models at home, it's gonna be amazing. For example, think about that. If Anthropic starts selling a small device, like, I don't know, think a lunchbox that you can just plug in and you get local Opus, think about that. Wouldn't you pay, like, I don't know, I'll gladly pay a couple of grand for that. And then maybe you pay for model updates, or I don't know, or maybe those come for free, or you just continue paying a regular subscription, which I don't like, to be honest. But yeah, having this on-prem would eliminate this entire issue. And I think that's what's like people in this industry should be, if they're not already focusing on next, how to make sure that those companies that can really benefit from those tools, because your average mom and pop shop, they don't need that. They don't need valuation. They don't need like complex dashboards. They don't need that. And most of the companies that need that will have, or if they don't, they should have an issue with sharing their financial data with Anthropic or OpenAI or even Microsoft, although your Excel files are already probably on OneDrive. But yeah, so there you have it. Claude and Excel, really, really impressive stuff. I'm really, really blown away at what this did. And I had high expectations before, because I've been using it for code for a long time. But seeing it, what it does, it's just, I don't know, just amazing. Okay, that's all I had for today. Nothing special in this video. I just wanted to share like my first experience with Claude and Excel, and it's awesome. You should try it out. Okay, bye.